Hey friends, Dry Socket here. Today we're going to check out my first upgraded set of revolvers for cowboy action. And I went from the 1873 short barreled in the bird's head grip to the 1873 long barrel in the plow grip. And I just want to talk about those couple of differences because they're more or less the same gun, right? They have that good weight that I've talked about. I really like the single action Army and their clones, but the difference in barrel length and the difference in grip, because really for most cowboy action guns, those are your two grip choices. You got the plow and you got the bird's head. Any other variation really comes from kind of the frame of the revolver. So, you get a Schofield or Bisley or an open top, or you get the 1858, those different ones, and those will change the weight of the gun, which is gonna, kind of change where your barrel wants to go with that initial point. So I really advocate for fondle as many revolvers as you can before you go in and make your purchases, and find something with that comfortable hand feel, because that's going to be the most important thing for cowboy action. Is it feels good in your hand and you can get it on target quickly without having to get too much into the sight. Like if you can go in and get on point and aim and know where you're gonna hit. I still use the sight. The sight is there for a reason. We're not, doing any of this stuff. But you'll be a little bit faster if your point of aim is just like right on target, right? And that has a lot to do with the weight and the grip and how you're pressing out. Now, the bird's head is cooler. Like just flat out, it's cooler. It's made for those quick draws to come from different places. It's basically made to be drawn not from a holster. So the fact that we use holsters and whatnot, you're kind of not gaining any advantage on it, other than stop points, right? To me, it feels really good in my hand. I like it a lot. You just don't usually see the longer frame ones with the bird's head grip, because that bird's head is like I said, it's made for the quick draw, concealment, those type of things. So I don't mind the plow. I enjoy the plow. It still feels good in my hand. It's just not as comfortable as the bird's head. I haven't really got to a point where I've hunted down and decided to change grips on these, especially since I've upgraded not once, but twice more since going to these. The other thing on the single action Army, is that barrel length, and what is the sweet spot? And the sweet spot is probably the 4.62. That's going to feel a little bit more natural to most people, but for me and the divisions that I want to shoot, I like being a little closer to the target. I like to have that extra thing when I'm shooting one hand unsupported, like you do in classic Cowboy. This feels better to me. This feels like I can get on target and kind of be locked in versus a lighter gun. So that heavier gun just adds a different balance point. Now it slows me down for sure. I'm a little bit slower, but is it better to be a little bit slower moving and aiming up your shots, or is it better to be faster at that but get a miss? Because that miss, that's 5 seconds every single time you miss. So taking my time with it in here when I do classic is kind of how I like to do it. The other thing that I did in this pair of revolvers is I have different grips. I got the mother of pearl, and I just got this wood handle one here because I think that looks really good in the holsters. And that's something to me. There's the gun training aspect of cowboy action, and shooting guns on targets. I like that. There's the using the old Western style guns. I really like that. That is very enjoyable. But there's another part. It's the costuming and the characterization and doing cool stuff. Like I put dental tools on my holster belt because dry socket, right? So having the different color grips and the things like that's something that will eventually, when I change out the grips on my vaqueros, I'll change them to be, a little bit different. That also really helps. You want to kind of keep track of, where your misses are coming from. And if you have, two identical revolvers and you're always kind of putting them and you don't know which holster you're putting in, what if all your misses came from one and it's a defect in the gun? It would be hard for you to track that and figure out that's what's going on, unless you were always you know, shooting that one in the same order and noticing it's like, oh, you know, in my first string, I'm missing more. What's going on with that? Maybe I should check this out. So having the different grips, like the white one, that's the one I shoot in my left hand, right? So, you know, the brown one is the one I shoot in my right hand. So I know where they go in my holsters. So again, these are great guns. That single action Army feel, I think, is better than the Vaquero. Thicker in here. Grip choice, bird's eye, it's cooler. Plow is probably going to be a little bit better for the big guns and a little bit more common to find. I have not put sure hits on these, but I did just put a little bit of paint on the end of the sight there. But I will probably upgrade these to have sure hits and get them tuned a little bit better. But at this point, they're not my backups, they're my backups. So these are really just kind of loner guns. And if, you know, I'm like, we shoot these today, I don't want them to feel left out. But again, 1873, the single action Army clones, you can't go wrong with them. They're great. There's a lot of different ones and companies that are importing them and manufacturing them and all that good stuff. So yeah, it's a great gun. Get out there and shoot.